Jimmy Lewis.
Who you talking about? Jimmy something? Jimmy Witherspoon? Nobody knew who he was.
Lewis.
Jimmy. Who's this Jimmy?
Lewis.
Jimmy. Who's this Jimmy?
Jimmy
Lewis. Who's this Jimmy?
Lewis.
Who's this Jimmy?
Just kept on doing.
Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk, Taco Tuesday, with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Okay, I'm Billy McGillicuddy. This is Techie Talk Taco Tuesday, and I'm here with my number one rated co-host of all time for Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Welcome to the show, Jerry Bernardo.
Thank you, Jimmy Lewis. I appreciate the intro.
Did you notice
it's false?
how
we're buffering?
Did you notice how it buffered? So this may be more of a podcast show than a regular show because there's a lot of technical difficulties.
Okay, let's break it down. I showed up really early, about 3+ hours, and Jimmy was slaving away, no lie, over technical difficulties, redoing everything from scratch. So we're going to give it our best shot, and if it comes out great, that's great. And if it sucks, well, it's going to be sucky. But that doesn't mean we're going to quit, because quitters never win and winners never quit. You hear me, kids?
And I'm still getting calls like I'm supposed to be doing my other job, but I'm going to have to put that on pause at the moment.
That vibrating sound sounds so familiar. Anyhow.
Yeah, so let's see. So Tech Talk Taco Tuesday is the show where we talk about motorcycle and motorcycle-related products and other things. We can answer at least 9 out of 10 questions without referring to a reference manual. If you are curious about something on your dirt bike, how it works, we can give you some tips, and we can tell stories, and we can pimp our sponsors. This show would not be possible without the help of course, Yamaha. Yeah, Blue Crew, Yamaha, the big supporter of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. They like what we're doing. They've been helping us for a few years now. And Jerry, what did I tell you today when you said what was my favorite motorcycle?
You said a WR450 because it's got some punch.
It's exciting. Yes, yeah, it's a good, exciting motorcycle.
It's got some oomph.
So I'm probably one of the few people that would say go out and buy a Yamaha WR450, but the WR450 is probably the most aggressive, like we'll call it trail bike. And so it's different. And I like riding different things. That's why I have Husabergs and KTMs and other bikes that like to throw me on the ground.
Well, there's nothing more depressing than cracking the throttle and nothing really happens right away. I mean, unless you're riding a 125 and you're not holding it wide open like a raped ape trying to blow it up, which is 125s really like that. If you abuse them like a redheaded stepchild, no offense to ginger people from England or any other part of the world. I'm just saying. Right wrist down, Tommy Norton style, wide open on a 125. They run really good.
Somebody's telling me we have no sound on this. Well, where? I mean, on the Instagrams, there's no way we don't have sound on this thing here. But I'm going to hang up on you in a few seconds anyways because I got to focus on the rest of the show. So if you want sound, go to YouTube. I should hold a picture. YouTube and then Facebook's. Yeah, Facebook's at Dirt Bike Test is where you can find this show live. And then you can chitter-chatter along. If you are watching the show live, go ahead and type up something in the message. Let us know where you're from. Say, hi, I'm from Valley of the Dirt People.
A.K.A. Pahrump, Valley of the Dirt People, just a flush away from Las Vegas, Nevada, a.k.a. Sin City, the land of fake tits and real assholes. I just threw that in there.
Yeah. There we go. So
Gene Wood's racing experience. If you want to race go-karts, come down to Fremont Street for the drift track. Hang on. You know you got broken ribs, even though it's on the right side. You jack with me in the middle of a monologue, and then that's it. So, Gene Wood's racing experience, Fremont Street, drift track, polished concrete. Jimmy Lewis happens to be pretty fast down there. So if you want to go racing against the big dogs, we'll bring him over from Pahrump, the reigning champ. 2 years in a row at the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame event, he won the celebrity go-kart race back-to-back, which proves he's a true champion. See, I pimped you.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you hold up your trophy, even though you're going to squint.
I'm going to hold up the trophy.
That's it. That's what you win when you go out there and
I'll put it on the emergency
crush
camera.
People.
Like that.
Wasn't it Gary Jones? Crushed. Goth Brow, number 15, famed dirt tracker, crushed.
He
Who
was
else did you smoke?
Garth was crushed. Of all the people, he was probably the most upset.
That was because you and him were on the pole, 1 and 2, and Gene Woods, the owner, said, "I'm going to flip a coin, and if it comes up heads, we're inverting the field." And guess who had to go to the back of the pack? Garth Brow or Jimmy Lewis?
I got to go to the back. It all worked out.
Yep.
So
This is show number 244 for anybody who's making notes.
oh,
Due, quattro, quattro.
big time buffering. Yes, we know that, Tony. Let's see. My favorite Jimmy-ism is the time he jumped my bike in the middle of the high desert in Wyoming with a capacitor. Oh, hey, Robert. I don't remember doing that, but I'm pretty sure I probably did. I like to be kind of helpful. Yeah, doing that. So this is what show is this? Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
244.
244. Okay, so now you know.
So I called Jimmy up this afternoon just to talk to him, and he said, "I have to report that I may or may not do Tech Talk Taco Tuesday." I was kind of sniffing around if he needed help.
Well, I talked to you on Friday, and I said,
Wait,
"Hey,
let
Jerry,
me finish.
I want some help."
The story. Yeah, you did. You mentioned it, but I wasn't sure of my plans because I'm so swamped with all this stuff being semi-retired. Anyhow, I talked to him and he said, "Bro, I crashed my KTM 1190, cross-rutted in some silt, went over the bars, slapped his body into the ground, and his arm hit the ground first, so his arm was in between his ribs and the ground. KTM 1190 found him afterwards, gave him a little love tap. Boop. And they're not the smallest of motorcycles. I personally can't think of a motorcycle that's much bigger than that. Hey, this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Jimmy, quick question. You're the Google of motorcycles.
Right.
Is there a motorcycle bigger than a KTM 1190?
Well, they make 1290s. I mean, like
There's your answer.
You could do a Harley Davidson Pan American. That's much bigger.
True.
There is, once they're over 400 pounds,
Basically, you're saying you still were on the podium with the third biggest motorcycle, pounded you and treated you like a little bitch.
It was all my fault. It was like,
and it was in the dark.
It was dark. It was late.
It was late, and he was alone.
I was alone.
Classic.
The big problem was that the bike had been telling me all day because I was riding it earlier. It had been telling me to like watch out because the tires that were on it were not good, and it had some luggage in the back, and that wasn't good. It was just everything, and it was the last 200 yards of dirt before I got home. How's that?
That's like the classic New England enduro. You go to it, and there's 10 miles to go, and all of a sudden the rock garden from hell shows up. Just sharp, jagged rocks with Pompeii logos on them, and they're pointing at you, and they're going, skid plate, brake lever, front disc, come here.
Oil filter cover,
everything.
So, yeah, I was I just expected a little bit too much out of where I was able to steer, and the front tire went one way and the back tire went the other way, and I never got myself out from. I think I might have tried to save it a little bit too long, and I landed on my belly with my arm underneath my belly, and I think it's the same ribs, the same. It's fucking cracked ribs. Excuse my French.
Doug Derby says Jimmy's shirt is fire, which it is, of course.
Thanks.
But it's only to be amplified by his callous carpenter nipples and the 2 lidocaine patches he has hiding below, which is almost the male equivalent of a pain bra.
Yeah, thanks to my good buddy NORRA for that. NORRA sent me this shirt. He said he saw it someplace, probably at the thrift store, and he knew that I had to have it. And at that point he was correct. So if I switch over to that other camera and the sound goes out, let me know.
Maybe you shouldn't switch anything, because when I got here, everything was fucked up. And it took us forever to get it to where we are right now. I almost had to turn around and drive all the way back to Las Vegas and go home, weeping, tail between my legs. No Mexican food. Pissed off. 1 F-bomb down. But you fixed it.
I think I got it going as best I could. It's still.
How many F-bombs during the show? Well, last time I was allotted 6. I'm not saying them
6?
on purpose, but if one pops in when I'm telling a tale,
I already said one on accident.
that's all right.
It's okay. It's not a kid's show. I check the
Hey.
box every single time.
Can I thank one more of your sponsors?
Yes, please.
Your sponsors. I'm just a co-host. Taco Moto.
Okay.
Now you can say Taco Moto, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, Takamoto usually
Takamoto.
brings you this segment called Rooster Endo. And if you would have sent in your bike Rooster Endo photo, guess what? You probably would have won because you would have been the only entry. But nobody wants to do that. So next week, I expect to have a whole bunch of entry submissions for Takamoto's Rooster Endo. That's the segment, because we have lots of segments on this show.
Yeah.
That's the segment where you send us a picture of your bike and you tell us a little bit about the mods you've done to it. And then we take a look at your bike and tell you what we think of it. And the bike that brings us the most joy during that segment is the one that wins the $100 gift certificate from Takamoto. So
Also bear in mind, sorry to interject, think about the background, because Jimmy's a stickler for a background. Yeah, the bike might be shit, the bike might be great, it might be the bomb, but if it's got a really crappy background, I mean, you got to shoot what you got. But bear that in mind, because he's looking behind you. I want to give a shout out to my boy Jeff DeBell right here, who says the Jimmy and Uncle Jerry show. Jeff DeBell is the reigning number 5 person in line at FAQ Racing. There's actually a pecking order, but it doesn't go any higher than 5. So squeaking into the mix, Jeff DeBell from Texas, my boy, my brother from another mother, who just bought an adventure bike.
yeah, be careful with that.
Yeah, be careful with that.
Be careful with that.
Especially when you're riding double, because your girlfriend's a little top heavy, and I'm not going to go into detail. Got milk.
Yeah, they if you fall off, they land on top of you.
The breasts?
The whole body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Extra.
That's called missionary position.
Oh yeah. Huh. Well. Okay.
All
Had to
right,
think
wait,
about that
let's
one
look
for a
at our
second.
list.
Kind of. Okay, we got a little bit
list,
of business to
A
do.
little list.
Of course,
Starting at the top.
we'll get to that.
Okay.
I was going to look for the other sponsor list, but I'll just thank. You know what? Look at the screen behind us. It rotates the sponsors. Of course, there's a Bulletproof Designs. Always been supportive of what we do here. I think I have a question, actually. No, it wasn't really a question. It was more of a comment from someone. It says, "What do they say?" I'm gonna go huck a
Want
lung.
me to read it?
Yeah, go for that. Can you read that one?
This is the question that has been asked by Take Care T Hunt. Hello, Jimmy. Love the video on the rock oil air filter. That caught my attention and seems to make maintenance less of a chore. Appreciate the information. Notice you had a post for BPD in your videos and wondered if I need to input a code into an order. There was no period after that, so work on your punctuation. I am looking to place one with them, especially the item below. Link goes here. I'm not going to read the link. As always, looking forward to seeing you ramp up the classes if when you all decide to schedule them. As always, thank you and take care. T Hunt. And his brother's name is Mark Hunt. You thought I was going to pass that up?
No.
That was like T-ball. That was
Yeah.
like, here, Jerry, did you see this? Let me put, yeah.
So T Hunt is looking at the Bulletproof Designs wheel set, which, by the way, I have a set, and they are Jimmy Lewis tested, Baja proven now, because they have at least 1.5 Peninsula runs on the wheels, and I still haven't had to tighten the spokes. So they've gone through one set of mooses, and they're on their actually same mooses in their second set of tires and things. Really impressed. Really good set of wheels, and I have everything. I mean, I run everything from stock wheels to the top of the line W wheels that were built up with super heavy duty everything, rim, spokes, and they're performing just fine. I don't see any downsides to these wheels. I know, like, when they very first brought them over, they had a little bit of quality control stuff, but they've got that in line. And Bulletproof is they're really. I mean, you think about it, they machine a lot of things, and it's the kind of stuff that gets knocked off. But their stuff is good, and they think about it, and it's not just another piece of knockoff stuff. So. Anyways, happy with the wheels. They, like I said, the wheel is an imported thing that they do, but they spend a lot of time finding the right vendor. So So guess what, T Hunt? This is the segment, because we're all about segments on this show. This is the segment where the best email of the week somehow gets a discount code that doesn't even exist.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I'm making.
Cannot express.
I'm gonna make something happen for you. But here's the way it works. So T Hunt, I hope you're watching the show, because you'd better send me an email that says, I'm stoked that I won that contest, and I want you to hook me up with that discount code. And if you do that, you'll be really stoked you did. If you don't, then I know you're just blowing false pleasantries up my posterior, and I don't want
false pleasantries.
I don't want that right now, because anything that goes up my posterior hurts my ribs.
T-ball.
Yeah. Okay. So
Scratch that from the screen.
okay, that's going away. I'm gonna make that one. I'm gonna close that one down. Yeah. So
start firing off questions, people.
talk about those
This
gloves.
guy. I will. 1 second. This guy is the Google of motorcycles. So if you can think of, you know how you go to Google, left-handed Dayglow penguins, and something pops up? Think of it for Jimmy. A question about a motorcycle or something, an issue you're having, or, what do you like for this? What do you like for that? The guy knows stuff. He's been around forever.
I may have been. Norman Foley asks.
How do I submit a bike?
Oh, we'll get that one right after this. I missed that. Is the FMF gnarly pipe worthwhile on a Beta 200RR? Norman, since I have not tested the FMF gnarly pipe on a Beta 200RR, I'm going to tell you that I can't answer that question. But if experience holds true, it will be as good, if not more powerful, than the stock pipe. And the reason I say that is the one thing about FMF is they very rarely, if ever, do they sell a pipe that you would replace from your stock pipe, and you're not going to get some sort of an increase in power. Is that a better power delivery, and is it all this other stuff? That's for you to decide. But I would say if you're looking for a replacement, if you got a smashed pipe, you're probably not going to go wrong. I'm pretty sure that it would be less expensive than the stock pipe, but you never know. So I actually prefer the FMF because they used to have, what were their pipes? There was the one that was supposed to be a rev pipe, but it didn't. I didn't feel like it revved. I felt like it had more hit. And then they had, I think it was the gnarly. I never liked the SSTs compared to just the regular one, but I think it was the gnarly. I felt smoothed the power out and made it way better on top, which kind of doesn't sound like what it would do. But on the bikes that I rode it, and those are YZ 250s and KTM 250s and 300s and YZ 125s, I always found that there was I'm pretty sure it was the gnarly pipe gave it better over rev and top end, and the Beta would love that particular thing. So until I actually rode one, I can't give you specifics, but just the overall FMF flavor, it's going to make more power, and hopefully if the gnarly is exactly what I'm thinking of, you'd be stoked. So there you go. You want to do the gloves?
No, I'm saying, would you like me to do the gloves?
How do I submit a bike?
Yes, you can answer that question.
You answer it.
How do you submit a bike? For Rooster Endo, I'm assuming you have to send a picture in to Jimmy, and the email address is Jimmy at dirtbiketest.com.
Yeah, my name at dirtbiketest.com.
Jimmy Lewis at
Just Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimmy at dirtbiketest.com. You submit the photo, but you have to also give him a rundown of the improvements you've made onto the bike, a detailed explanation of every single bolt-on accessory or improvement, modification, custom, whatever you did. If you painted a little flower power signal on the front plate, you got to write it down. We'll read it off, and we'll decide whether we think that bike roosts or endos. If it roosts, $100 gift certificate from Taco Moto.
The one that gives us the most pleasure in the roosting discussion. Hey, yeah, we know the video is freezing up. We're aware of this. It's a technical difficulty that I spent 3 hours trying to get. So, Kevin, I'm going to tell you how I submit a bike. I usually just try to put one wheel in one silt rut and one wheel in the other silt rut, and then it flops to the ground, and then you try to jump on top of it, but that didn't work out. So it submitted me. Picking that bitch up was tough. Chris Real, busted ribs only hurt when I laugh. Correct. And T Flannel says,
what did I tell Meyer at the Mexican restaurant? If you have broken ribs, don't A, B, C. Do you remember?
no, you were talking.
C was non-PC, the third thing I said to her.
Mm-hmm.
I said, when you sneeze, when
Right.
you have hiccups, or you have an orgasm in public.
Oh, that's right. I missed that.
No,
I know.
said-
I heard.
You were sitting right there. I said,
I
it to
heard
the
it.
waitress.
I was probably trying to post on Facebook about this show.
You were probably
I was
trying to
busy.
ask Erica if she wanted to come back for an ice cream.
I
know
was
you.
I was taking care of your dating matters too. This is
Well,
true.
I don't have any, but I will buy an ice cream.
And Rob Metzger says I was there. Where was Rob? Where were we?
Rob Metzger was there in the men's room when George Michael was arrested. I wasn't there. I know he was, allegedly. I don't know.
I don't know where
You
he's-
know, there was some hairspray. Somebody was singing a song. Count me out, bro.
Yeah. So arthritis in both of my hands, says D. Ron Moyer. I know a lot of people swear by the flex bars. Are they worth the $400? Yes. Yes and yes. I don't have arthritis. I have wrists that don't connect my hands to my arms, and so they're really bad. And yes. This go take your hand and just do a hammer drop on top of a regular handlebar, and then do that on a flex bar if you have the chance. Just take your weight of your hand and just go. And I don't want to do it because it would actually hurt my ribs right now, but you could do it. Just take your hand from right here and just let it fall. Exactly. Do that on a regular bar and on a flex bar, and every time you hit a bump, that's what they do for you, and they're worth every cent. So Fasst Company, a great supporter of this channel, and if I would have got that question before, you would have won the big discount. But since you're listening to this show, if you email me, because you think you should have won the segment where you get the discount code that doesn't exist, I might be able to hook you up. You never know. At least I could hook you up with the guys at Fasst Company, and they can make sure you get the right bars for your arthritis in hands. Hey, Rob, you guys can take your conversation offline, KTM Gillespie. What is Kevin Kleinschmidt now? Okay, here we go. You going to read that one?
If you want me to.
Okay.
Should I start out with a full SoCal accent, or should I just read it as it's written?
Well, you have to with that first word.
Dude. First word. Dude, I have an LR-inspired CRF 150R AF full size. 13,000 RPM full size 150R, a CR 125 chassis with a CRF 150R motor. As I said, is inspired by the bike LR, which he's talking about Larry Rossler, okay? For the kids that aren't up to the LR monologue. Inspired by the bike LR Road, the 80cc 125 frame bike he rode in ISDE ? So it's questionable. Did it actually
No,
happen?
it happened, yes,
Okay,
in
so we know.
1989, yeah.
Confirmation. Anyway, he raced at LACR one Friday night. I just happened to be there on a borrowed KX125 in the vet class. Anyway, that's what inspired me. LR passed me like I was standing still. That happens a lot when he's around. And I didn't crash into him, ? Back in the 1990s.
Bro.
So it's not necessary.
Dude.
Bro. Back in the 1990s, ... So it's not necessarily posed as a question. He's telling us about this bike. He's telling us that he raced with Larry Rossler and Larry smoked him, because that's what Uncle Larry does.
So he
is that a question? It's not.
It's
really
a
question.
it's a little bit of a story, but an interesting one. So yeah, I was actually, it was in I don't know if that was Germany or Sweden where Larry rode the 80 in the KX80 motor and the KX125 frame. It was a way that we were going to try to win the world trophy, because he could do way better on what they call evaluation points, the way they scored it in the 80 class, than he would in like the open class or anything else. And it was just we thought that would be a good thing to do. And I don't remember whether that was Germany or not. But anyhow, your CRF 150R is a 4-stroke, and that's not. That's probably really slow 125. It's like most Honda 125s are already really slow to begin with, so you're in good shape. And the reason he passed you like you were standing still is corner speed. It's all about the corner speed. You can buy TM makes I think still to this day they still make a full size 80. In the 125 chassis. They used to sell them here. I had one and raced it for a little while when back in the days at the SRA Grand Prix. Dave Scott seconds the shirt. Well, that's NORRA. You did me right with this one. I was going to wear a shirt from the club. In fact, I got a shirt from the club today. Show them the bag, Jerry.
The shirt that Jimmy is talking about is the shirt that I am wearing that you can only see the front. You can't see the back. But it did come in a bag that's pretty cool. That actually has a story. So I'm going to hold up the bag because I had some bags custom printed. I don't know how my buffering is, but...
You're good right now.
Okay, and there's a little shine from the lights, but here's the story. The house in the background of the Gene Simmons rider on the bicycle with the bent-down seat post is the house that Fasst Racing was birthed from in 1986. Said rider is named Diab. Diab is no longer with us because he passed away from alcohol-related tragedies. Drank himself to death. That happens sometimes. Anyhow, we were drinking out in the backyard, and it was like a dirt driveway, and then it rolled down a little bit of a hill to the lower part of the backyard. So we set up the old, cinder block ramp jump at the top, and he was jumping down on this bicycle. And as you could tell, the seat post is bent down, so there was more than one jump. So that's Diab hucking it drunk, and I popped Gene Simmons' head on top, and I made a T-shirt out of it. The T-shirt has blue, not green. This is green. This is just a bag. But the T-shirt that Jimmy got, maybe I'll go grab it. You can see the back. It's available on FacuRacing.com, along with this hat, Ride Dirt Bikes, Eat Pizza, which I have some left. If you want to buy one,
that's the best one.
If you want to buy one of these hats, I will sell you one.
I'll even sign it.
If you don't want to buy one of these hats, I don't know what's fucking wrong with you.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I've been wanting to wear that hat because it's in my living room. I got it because I got it right before I went to Mexico, but I'm like, if I take it, I'll ruin this hat. I know I get it dirty because it just gets sweaty and dirty. And I'm like, this is a good hat. I'm gonna cherish this one a little bit. I was gonna bust it out on the show, but Jerry beat me to it.
You just have to make sure you peel off the black and silver Richardson 112 sticker off the brim because the kids are the only ones that pull that crap.
Right.
Kids. Got
it. So, okay. I know what else we were going to talk about. But Chris Alamangos, Jimmy and the bloke from Langtown. You're the bloke from Langtown. Because you covered Langtown.
I did race Langtown for Moto World 2 one year.
He says it's the WOG. He's an Australian guy.
I'm a WOG or you're a WOG? You're telling us you're a WOG? I guess
we used to call him a WOG.
No, that's all right. I lived in Australia for 12 years.
Worked around government.
What he's talking about.
And when you test adventure off-road bikes or anything besides a motocross bike, could you have a Jimmy stock suspension spec and have it available on your website anywhere I can get access to it? Cheers from the
Bloody Bludger.
Bludger.
I'm guessing it says the Bloody Bludger. Cheers from the Bloody Bludger, mate.
So usually, Chris, in our videos, I know you'd have to watch our videos. I do put in the suspension spec setting lately, and in some of the tests, we were definitely telling you which direction to go. But yeah, why besides a motocross bike? You don't want my motocross settings? They're not Jody Crossified. They're not that good for you. I'm a little worried. So, next, we don't do any sponsor plugs here. That's why you should go to FacuRacing.com, right?
If you'd like to.
If you'd like to.
And if you don't want to go to FacuRacing.com, don't.
But there's another member that sent me some gloves.
I had him send you those. I requested these. These are new gloves from RLR 336. RLR is Rich Lafferty from New Jersey. You might have heard of the name, the famed Lafferty brothers. dominating in the pine trees and enduros of the world. Mike Lafferty, Rich Lafferty, Jack Lafferty, and Pops Lafferty, who, ironically, doesn't wear gloves when he rides a dirt bike. So it's crazy that his kid Rich came up with these gloves. They're actually kind of a throwback to the old school enduro gloves. They got the padded palm, they got the little knuckle protectors, and I designed that logo. I had a pair sent to Tommy Norton, the Blackwater winner, on a KTM 125, and Tommy actually loves them. Jeff DeBell, number 5 at Fuck You, he bought a couple of pairs. He loves them. I have some. I wear them a couple of times. I think they're great. I mean, no offense to, and I'm going to have to say fist gloves only because you'll understand. Fist gloves makes really cool gloves, and they're great, and I know the owner of the company.
Climb makes really good gloves, too.
Yep, and Climb's your sponsor. But Fists makes the really fancy ones with the cool, crazy prints and this and that, and they're great. But to me, it's more of an FMX glove because it's just a glove with no padding, no nothing. It's
right, and gloves.
This is a glove that you would
gloves
wear.
Are like,
this is a glove you would wear in the woods if you tend to bash things.
And gloves are like anything else. Like people have preferences in certain styles, and for sure, I'm not a big padded. I'm going to try these. Right. But I'm not a big padded palm or padded, especially. Right. I already have the pads on my.
Yeah, they're not padded that much, but anyhow, nonetheless, if you're interested in a good pair of gloves, I think they're like $20. Go on rlr336.com and buy them. Rich also just came out with a set of goggles, so this is a new product for him, and you can get a replacement lens and a roll-off system. And I haven't tried them yet, but Jeff DeBell bought a pair. But I sent these to Jimmy. Well, Rich sent them to Jimmy at my request so he can test them because dirt bike test, last word, test.
Yeah, we test stuff.
So that's what's going to happen. He's going to put these on and give it a good wank.
Yeah, Tony loves his wind stoppers from Climb.
Yep.
Yep. So I actually took them to Mexico. I was going to wear them, but I got so wrapped up in what I was doing. I got some Mexico stories.
You were enthralled looking into the deep pearly brown eyes of Ricky Brabeck. Two-time Dakar winner.
Dakar,
was with you in Baja, and you just became enamored in his whole presence.
Couldn't think to do my other jobs. I just was following Ricky around, verifying road books. If you missed it, we did
the road books for the NORRA 1000.
We went live a couple times on the Tech Talks. So the question now is, D. Ron Meyer, okay, Jimmy, what grips then? Foam rally grips or something else? So on my rally type bikes and adventure bikes, I run the foam grips. I have them on my Tenere. I have them on my KTM 500. I use, and they've been really hard to get. I actually just bought 3 pairs from Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and I bought the Superbike ones that actually have they don't have the ends on them. You put the plug in the end of the bar. So the foam Pro Grip foam rally grips are the ones that I run, and but I don't run them on my like gnarly enduro bikes. I prefer regular grips on, or motocross bikes. Don't make me cough. I finally had my first KTM fuel pump go out.
On what bike?
On my 500 down in Mexico. And was really interesting is that, so we had the other bike that was with us, which it had a fuel pump problem. And so lucky it had a lot of gas in there. So we were able to kind of get around that by using other fuel tanks. And the nice guy I said, well, I can get gas real easy out of mine. I carry a hose and I just plugged into my line and I just primed my pump and just squirted gas into my buddy Rick's gas tank to get him going down the road. And said, no problem. Go ahead and take off. And when I catch up, if I catch up to you, you'll be so close, I'll be able to push you. It was like kind of going downhill into the town. But I took my extend a hose thing off, put it all back, plug my thing back in. And my bike started right back up like I expected. And I got on the gas and went bull. And anytime I got on the gas, it was bull. And I thought, that's really weird. because when I disconnected it, where I pump it from is pre-fuel filter. So I was thinking cycling all that gas through there, like there's the fuel filter in the tank, but that has a certain amount of capacity or whatever. And I'm like, I couldn't have plugged the little fuel filter. But anyways, I checked everything out, took it apart, put it back together. Bull. And so now I'm sitting out in the middle of nowhere. Ricky's gone, but also ran out of gas shortly after that because we didn't put that much in.
So he's gone ahead of you, and he
yeah.
ran out of petrol.
But luckily we had comms with our be able to get to our chase truck, and I told him to turn around and come back and grab us, and so he came back, gave Ricky gas, came back. We threw my bike in the truck and got it back, and so sure enough, it was the fuel pump. I had another one in my spares down there. I had a fuel pump, so I just dropped it in. It was about a 15-20 minute job. But when I got home, I pulled it apart because I wanted to see what goes wrong. And this is I have the insides in my hand here of a KTM fuel pump, and I'm going to go ahead and switch to what we call the emergency camera. So you can see this is a little vein inside of the fuel pump that spins around inside there. So basically it's an electric, it's just a typical electric motor, which you're seeing kind of here. There's the upper part, and I'll go ahead and peel this apart and show you what it looks like. So there's magnets, all the things inside of a motor, and this there's the rotor inside of there, which I'm opening up, see, and it's pretty strong magnets. And this thing still spun. I mean, when you would power it up, it would spin. And that goes down and inside of this casing, and here's where that little rotor that I was just holding up spins. And you look at it and excuse me, visually, it doesn't look like anything's wrong. But I'm sure over the 800 hours that we're on this thing, that there's been a little bit of wear here. And the other place there was a little bit of wear was up here on top of the brushes. So I don't know if you can see in the video, but there's a little channel in here where the brushes inside of here still looked really good. They have spring. There was contact. Like I said, it was spinning the motor. The motor spun strong. But I suspect that what happened is after all that time, just the wear and the friction inside of here made it so that it was somehow able to cavitate and not do what it was supposed to do. So if you wonder how, we figure things out, it's like you don't just buy another one and throw it away. I always take them apart. I want to see what failed so I can kind of tell. But now, and I haven't really had a whole lot of problems, but I could see if you got dirt in here, which would be not that hard because there's only the filter previous to this is just a kind of a pretty open screen. Jerry's just fascinated.
No, I'm just like, a joke would be this is the most tech part of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday because I don't know anything about this and you do. So
yeah.
I'm actually listening.
Yeah.
So tech on.
So anyhow, in like taking this thing apart and kind of seeing, what is, but if you I can see why pumps would go out if you inadvertently get a fair amount of dirt and stuff in your gas. And the interesting thing about this pump is when it pumps this gas, it sucks it out of the tank, it pumps it right up through the middle of this entire rotor. The gas is surrounding this rotor, and it literally comes out the top right past the brushes. So it's using the gas as a lubricant to kind of do all this stuff. But anyway, so I had a fuel pump problem, and hopefully I've learned something from it. I'm really interested to see, because I hear guys that go through fuel pumps in 100 hours, and I'm just going, you're dumping, and a lot of it's racers because those guys that talk a lot, and I run around with these kind of people, and they're using dry brakes and dumping sand and all this stuff into their gas, and yeah, I can see that being kind of a problem. But anyways, I just thought I'd bring that. So that was my what. So another thing that I had is my KTM 500, like it's been using a little bit of oil, but it's not burning it. Like it's not really, and it's blowing it out through the overflow, which goes into the airbox. And about 4 days in, I noticed that it looked like my countershaft seal was starting to give out. because the oil, it had saturated the bottom of the air filter, because I'm not riding in dust, so we were never changing it. But then it started dripping out of the bottom of the air box, right down the frame rail, and it ended up dropping it right on top of the chain. And it would go, because the chain's going forward at that point, and I would take it and it would start spitting it all around the counter shaft. I'm like, oh, great, counter shaft seal. I don't want this sucker to go. And after 4 days of adding 100 cc's a day, so it's not a lot, but 100 cc's, you start pouring 100 cc's onto an area, it looks like catastrophic.
Especially if it's fentanyl.
I changed the air filter, noticed it was saturated, and the next day my counter shaft seal fixed itself. Amazing.
It was a miracle.
Yeah, it was a miracle. So I've got to figure out why. And some people say it's when the rings start going bad, but this motor only right now, this piston only has 200 hours on it, and it's kind of been pretty consistent since I put the piston back in. But I did not get a new cylinder. I just dropped a Wiseco piston into this thing, and it's running great. It's making really good power. Everything's fine. And it wasn't necessarily doing this before, so I don't know if there's just that much pressure getting back through there or whatever.
Victor has a question.
Okay, let's go to the questions. It's enough of my stupid stories. Tech talk over.
Victor Andrade, card-carrying member of FAQ Racing, I might add.
Is he?
You
let him in?
Yes, I did. Cook extraordinaire, or I like to call him Chef 3. He asks, Jimmy, is it true that you can sign up for a NORRA 1000 partial, or do you have to sign up for the whole ride? First, I'm going to answer, 1000 means 1000. What's this partial? On prom night, did you put it in halfway? No, you did not, because I saw the video. So this partial 1000, that's crap.
Okay.
Now the true answer, Jimmy, is this true?
As the motorcycle race director for the NORRA Mexico 1000, the answer is yes. We decided that a week is a long time for people, and we don't have like an entry level event. It's the 1000 or nothing with motorcycles, but some people want to get their feet wet. So we have something called Moto Uno, and you get to do one full day of the NORRA Mexico 1000, the first day. It's not inexpensive. I think it's $985 to do just day one. But you will do everything. You'll have to go through tech inspection. You're going to get the Stella unit. You're going to get the tracker. You have to have your map book and all your other stuff. So, yes, you can do Moto Uno for one day. And then when we get to our day one stop was El Rosario, you can do the finish line party and celebration. And the next morning when we take off in the early morning to get going, we say, see ya.
Vaya con Dios, hermano.
Vaya con Dios.
So there you go. There's your answer. There's your participation trophy, Victor.
Yeah, I think we're gonna give him. Little participation things.
No, I love Victor.
Something.
I actually called him up this afternoon and said, "Hey, you're gonna want to tune in tonight because Jimmy's all busted up, and I'm gonna bust his balls."
Yeah, it's tough. Tim Wharton, who knows a thing or two about Baja,
Yes.
Baja bound moto. By the way, Flex bars since forever ago. FTW foam grips, rally grips since 19. FTW,
Fuck the world.
Fuck the world. Pro grip foam grip. Yeah.
Tim Morton does know what he's talking about.
I wonder if I talked Tim into the flex bars, because there's a lot of people that said, dude, why are you running those things? And I'm like, because they work, because they're good. That's the only reason. No other reason. It wasn't because Cole's the nicest dude in the world. It was like, in fact, I was really skeptical when I first rode with him, and I don't know if I had the wrist injuries when I first rode with him. But boy, when my wrist really started flaring up, and I used to have to ride a lot, and I had to ride stock bikes that had sometimes crappy suspension. And my first recollection about flex bars was they make bad forks good. You could ride on bikes that had bad forks. Let's just say KTM 4CS forks. And the forks all of a sudden were no longer a problem because the bars would do what the forks didn't, bikes that were exceptionally stiff. So, back to the...
I stand corrected. Robert Mann says FTW means
for the win.
I thought it was fuck the world because, Jesse James, West Coast.
You come from as a
Choppers.
different angle.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the win. Thank you,
Jesse
Robert.
James Firearm Company, But for the win,
Robert,
more politically correct.
Rob also commented that that they run the Bulletproof Designs wheels on the Freedom Rally Racing thing. I saw that someplace in a question someplace. But anyways, yeah, good on you. Thanks for reminding me of what things make. I can answer motorcycle questions. I don't know what acronyms necessarily mean. And Doug Derby is running quantum pumps on the 690, 990, and 570S. That guy's got
Maybe 570s.
You know what a 570 is? No, it's a S.
Husaberg.
It's hard to do right now, Jerry, but it's worth every ding.
Husaberg.
Husaberg. You think I clean this desk off one of these days?
Have you seen this shoe that I was just smashing the bell with?
Tim says, yes, you did get me on them because you heard me whine about my wimpy destroyed wrists. Well, it's like, bro, we all complain about something. I can... Good. Yeah, you want to talk about that shoe?
What I'm holding up right here is called the Heart Shoe from the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, which is a nonprofit motorcycle organization out of Las Vegas, Nevada, created by Gene Woods, 3-time national speedway champion. It is a nonprofit organization, and we donate shoes to the homeless in and around Arizona and Las Vegas to people who are in need, not just homeless people, moms that are down and out, that, a little strap for cash and whatnot. We work a lot with churches, and Minister Bob Pete out of Kingman, Arizona hooks us up. We go down there, we bring a bunch of pairs of shoes, and we provide footwear to people who are in need. And this is called the Heart Shoe because it is from the heart of the motorcycle industry. And if anybody wants to donate in any way, shape, or form, you can get in touch with me or go to
Hot Shoe Hall of Fame.
Hot Shoe Hall of Fame or Gene Woods. Just message me because we're always looking to replenish our stock of the more shoes we give away, the more disappear. We put smiles on people's faces, shoes on their feet. I keep some in the trunk of my car. I drove to the gym one day and I saw this family of 4. They looked a little down and out. I noticed the kid wasn't wearing shoes. The bottom of his feet were black. I felt terrible. I pulled over, true story, looped back around. I walked up with the shoes and I go, these shoes are for your son. And the lady goes, oh my God. I go, they're 11s. That's all I got. She goes, those are his size. I go, but he has to put them on right now. And I went back and got in my car, and the kid was sitting on the sidewalk putting on the shoes. So, it was a feel-good moment, and we need support. So if anybody wants to donate,
it's a pretty good way to give back, because the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, it kind of comes from the hot shoe when you're sliding in the flat tracks and stuff like this, the speedway. But Gene found a pretty good way, and his Hall of Fame, it's all at his go-kart track. You can go down there and see all the legends that are up on the walls, all the people that have made a difference, and then when he does his big yearly induction, they raise money to get more of those shoes, and it all kind of goes to this thing, and I'm a big supporter of that, and not only because I just go and dominate in the go-kart flat track, because I don't like to talk about myself like that too much.
I like to call the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame event the best motorcycle banquet you'll ever go to. It's free. It's the best motorcycle banquet you'll ever go to. No knock to the other motorcycle banquets. They do a great job. But sometimes when you go to them, they drag on. They're a little stuffy. It's a little bit too much of this, a little bit too much of that. If you come to our event, it's 1,000 people bench racing, getting together, catching up, having fun, talking, and then we have a 2-hour block of interviews where we bring up about 15 heavy hitters, and we give away 2 or 3 presentation trophies. Jimmy Lewis this year, what did you win? What did you win?
The Ziki.
I'm gonna stretch because I don't have broken ribs.
Hold up.
Jimmy Lewis this year won what we call the Zeki Award. This is an award named after Howie Zechner from Raz Video, who covers all the speedway events in the United States, mostly Southern California, but also he has content from European Speedway. and he really gives back to motorcycling. And this award recognizes your selfless and unwavering dedication to the motorcycle industry. And without trying to sound like I'm sucking up to him, because he is my good buddy and I've known him for 30 plus years, it's because Jimmy gives back. He teaches people about motorcycles. He teaches people how to go safer and faster on motorcycles. He will offer his time, his knowledge, and I mean, he's hooked me up before with some free stuff. So
It's kind of
cool.
Kind of like doing this show with broken ribs.
Yep.
I love it.
And you know what?
I love it.
I've been asked to be on a podcast before, and I don't go on podcasts.
This is
I'm on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday because I have sold my soul
It's
to
a-
the Pahrump Devil,
It's a
Jimmy Lewis,
video
because he lets me
vlog.
be myself and he doesn't try and tether me, put on a leash, AMA me, because you know what? Like the sticker says right here, ask not what you can do for the AMA. Ask what the fuck the AMA even does. Read it and weep, Ohio.
Okay, so we're going to go through some of our YouTube questions here. If you have questions anytime during the show, just fire them out in that chat. We'll go back to get back in there. And let's see. There's a lot of questions. I saw a good one there. A minute. Let's see. Let's go
Wait,
here.
Go back one
Okay,
said
right there.
infomercial. I want to see if it.
The infomercial?
Go down one. This is an infomercial for the product and an ad for the Amazon store.
That's on my SP Connect tested phone case, which is like literally right here. This thing rides on my bike in Baja. It charges it. It flops around. I drop it. That case is everything I said in that video is 100% true. And if you don't believe me, you can just go use the coupon code and check out and show me how much you hate me. That's all you have to. Anytime we give you a discount code or something like that, it helps us out just a little bit. That's why you should go to Rocky Mountain ATVMC, use our code there, click through on our Amazon links on the stuff. But I don't even know if they have an Amazon store. In fact, I need to talk to them more about this because it's a good product. I'd like to support it.
Bezos is busy putting the girls in a tube and sending them to space for 11 minutes.
Oh.
He can't help you with your case.
Oh, okay.
Buy a
Well,
book.
let's see. Let's see. The JD jetting tuner is handy to richen up the low lean end on my KTM TPI. I totally agree with you, Oregon Rider. Let's see. Here we go. What does Nadude4292 say?
I was riding with a guy on a CR450 on a pretty gnarly trail with some stone hoops and baby head boulders. I have another name for that.
Uh-huh.
I was still pretty new to it at the time, but have mountain bike experience. Definitely was bottoming the shocks on the whoops, but him and I were both surprised I kept up, except for the straights, of course. Oh, goes on and on and on.
Yeah, so he's
But
telling
he was
he's
really
basically
going for it. And I kept telling myself, trust the machine.
he's talking about taking down a guy with a Sierra 450 on his Yamaha XT250. That's Blue Crew, by the way, Yamaha. So if you're not man enough for a WR450, you can get an XT250, and evidently you can take on a Sierra 450. On my AJP PR7 adventure bike review, somebody tells me that you can get a Yamaha T7 for $9,000 right now. Okay, that's a pretty damn good deal. Like $9,000 for a T7. I would be surprised, but that sounds like the sticker they put, and then you got to come in and pay all the fees. Let's see. Yamaha WR450 F Stage 2 modifications. That's the bike I like. That's what I was talking about. Look at it. It's shooting me out of the cannon like a rocket in that picture.
What about the question above it?
Does the bike run lean with the comp ECU? And the answer is no. If you would watch the whole video where I talk about everything in the video, Spencer Singer, it would probably explain what the bike... You can make the bike run lean because the comp ECU allows you to tune it. Oliver Eanes something, whatever, asks or says... Can you go bald?
You most certainly, because time waits for no man.
I thought he was talking about something else.
Oh, I don't know. I just saw Can You Go Bald?
Yeah.
Yes, I am follically challenged.
Dirt Bike Hombre says,
Oh, you want me to read it?
uh-huh.
I was looking down because Hombre made me think of that because we're
Oh.
going to do that too.
Well, let's talk about that.
We will. Let's do his question
Okay.
and then we'll talk about that. We'll segue into it.
Sounds
it's big
good.
TV saying segue. Okay. Can you guys get a hold of the 300RR X Pro and tell us how it is? Coming from a 4CS Husky, I'm sus about that suspension. Do you know what sus means? Suspect.
Suspect.
It's kind of like a Aussie slang or English.
I think the
Sus.
kids,
Oh, that guy's bloody sus, mate.
the kids are pulling that out of their vocabularies
no, that's not
these
a Gen
days.
X at all.
No, it's
Answer
like
the question,
no
though.
little kids these days. So what is a 300 XR? You should have told me what brand it is because how do you expect me to know everything about motorcycles?
I know. What the hell? What do
You at
think?
least
This
put the
is
name
TikTok
brand.
Taco
Yeah,
Tuesday?
it's a beta. He's talking about the beta. I'll tell you how it is. Because I think, do we have the X Pro? So we haven't tested, but it's just like the race replicas. It's the same. It's the same build as the race replica, and it's going to be good. It's going to be just like the regular one, but a little bit better because, well, it depends on what you want. Sometimes the suspension's a little bit set up for a little bit more aggressive, and sometimes the components a little bit better. But I think it's going to be a good one. I haven't ridden one, so I can't tell you exactly. S. Danville says, it's so hard to find testers that realize a 250 can be for experienced riders as well. What do you think he means by experience? Like how old he is? Like age?
He made it through prom night.
Okay. I have a 250 and a CBR 1000 and a VXT 1300. I've owned 80 motorcycles. Over 25 were dual sports. When I started, they were called dual purpose. Kind of sounds like my boss at Cycle World talking to me.
Sorry, I was doing some research.
That's okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, you know what? I have an XR 150 that I've been riding around, and it's a good motorcycle, too. It's capable. Dos Hombres.
Okay.
They make tequila, evidently.
We have a question. I thought of this question, and I'm sober 36 years, so I don't even drink. But Jimmy Lewis tends to sip on some tequila sometimes throughout the course of his adventures here. Over on that table, there are vast quantities of alcohol bottles and a lot of fancy tequila bottles.
Some
He
really
picked one
fancy
up
ones.
off the floor. He said, "Oh, this stuff is expensive." I'm like, being a non-drink, I go, "Oh, what's that? Like $50?" He goes, "This bottle's like $280." So anyhow, my question is, I said, Jimmy Lewis, my friend, I said, "Hey, have you ever tried Dos Hombres tequila?" And he said, "What's that?" I said, Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad hooked up, and they created their own tequila called
brand.
Dos Hombres. And we were wondering if anybody had any connections, because if they would like to donate a bottle, Jimmy Lewis, who not only tests dirt bikes, he also knows about drinking.
I'm going to do a tequila tasting.
He would like to
podcast.
try a bottle of Dos Hombres. So if you have a super duper connection with Breaking Bad stars Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul,
Or any tequila company, really.
can I just
But
pitch
yeah,
what I
keep
wanted
going.
to pitch?
Just
Because if you get a free bottle of Dos
You're-
Hombres out of the deal, I might get a sticker.
you're
I might even get a NORRA sticker.
no, it's not as good as, but it's not as good as a fuck you patch.
Yeah, iron-on patch from Fuck You Racing, unavailable at Walmart. So anyhow, if anybody knows how to get a bottle of Dos Hombres onto this table, we would appreciate it, and Jimmy would be more than happy to test some tequila.
I will do that. I will test the tequilas. I'm going to go back and look at our regular questions. And hello, Jimmy from YouTube's. Hi, I'm right here. Gene Woods, Jerry, tell the joke of the day, but not the fishing one.
Gene Woods wants me to tell the joke of the day.
Do you want this show to get banned?
Gene, tell you what, I will tell the joke I can get away with because I told it to the waitress Maya from La Fonda, which is a really good Mexican restaurant here that we went to because we didn't go to the one we like. You weren't here, so Jimmy said, let's go to La Fonda because Shorty likes La Fonda.
Right.
The chips were awesome. A little bit oily, a little bit sort of well done. Really good salsa, loved it. And Mia was there, and I told her this joke. I don't know what the joke of the day is, but I told her, what do you call a lesbian on fire? I paused. She thought. She didn't have an answer. She said what? I said LGBTQ. That is the only joke I can tell and not get struck down by the Lord above, who I don't believe in. Fire from the heavens, lava from Pompeii, raining down, scalding my bald skull. Go ahead.
Now I have to check the religion box on the YouTube thing there. Dave Donnelly
invited me.
says, "You're here to save me, Jerry."
Well, you were in a bit of a pickle.
With the Dark Lord. Dave Donnelly, do you use chain lube anymore? Yes, I use chain lube. You know when I use chain lube, Jerry?
When your chain's dry.
Right when I'm done riding, I put chain lube on my motorcycle.
Because
like
the chain's still warm.
Chain's warm, and I think it absorbs it in a little bit better.
Do?
Yeah, absorbs it a little bit better. And then if I go to wash it, that chain lube acts as a protective layer to keep the water from getting into other places. So yes, I use chain lube.
Chain lube question.
And does Ricky Brabeck have a new chain for each stage of Dakar? That would have been a great question to ask Ricky when he was live on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday from the Road Edition last Tuesday night. Just think, last Tuesday night I was just getting back from Mexico. Guys, it was so nice feeling without these ribs.
I want to know, this is what I used to do. Tell me if you think this is a good method. You said you lube your chain when you get back from a ride, and I guess that because the chain's warm, it helps seep it in, blah, blah, blah. When I power wash my bike, after I wash it, I put it up on the stand, and I hit it with WD-40 to get out all the water, displace all the water. I spin it, and then I put the chain lube on. Am I on point?
It can't be that hard. I mean, that couldn't be that bad. But you're talking about riding. We're desert rats out here talking about different things. So yeah, I would expect it for chains all wet and everything from the conditions. WD is not bad. In fact, for a long time, I only used like a water displacing penetrant lube on my chains more so than chain lube. But you know, I'm always kind of testing stuff and trying different things, and I haven't really seen one thing work way better than the others. And Steve Bauer tells me I need to call Jim Beecham for some fine tequila. Okay, get me his number immediately, right now. And then Steve also says, I thought that LaFonda was the chick from Napoleon Dynamite.
She actually is the LaFonda from Napoleon Dynamite.
She kind of was.
No, she was pretty cool. But no, LaFonda from Napoleon Dynamite, yes, you are right. Bonus points for movie trivia.
Since this is a motorcycle podcast and we like to keep it, all about, dirt bikes and motorcycle-related products, Jerry, what do you call two lesbians in a closet?
I do not know the answer, but I am always searching for new jokes to tell at the gym.
Okay.
So fill us in.
And we're not gonna say the answer to that out loud on this show. You have to go to the thing and watch it in the chat as it scrolls up.
Gene only allotted us one joke of the day.
Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, that's the other reason.
We're done and dusted.
But Doug, you can put your answer up there.
Yeah,
and then
I want to know because I have to tell Andy at the gym because I go to the gym in the morning every day, and he goes, "You got anything for me?" He's like a crack addict for jokes. He goes, "Oh wait, can I tell the?"
No.
Can I tell the?
No, you can't. You cannot. You can't.
About the Asian couple?
No, we can't tell any of them anymore. We're over that. So I had another question today. So people are emailing me to get their free stuff, and I had an email earlier today that was for a question. I will get to it right now. So one of the questions was, this way to start the show, but we're halfway through. What is your advice for a guy that says, I got the latest cool motorcycle and have not even taken it around the block? What should I do?
Stop listening to your wife. That was pretty simple. What was that, a test?
Should you ride it first? Should you set the suspension to your weight? Should you adjust the levers? Should you check the oil, check the air filter, check the tire pressure, do a nut and bolt check, burn the bumps off a credit card and get a ton of goodies, a pipe, handguards, wide pegs, graphics kit, plastic, steering damper, a new ECU, set the suspension when put different tires on it.
You know what he should do? My suggestion, the first list, definitely do all that stuff. Like, you know how many times you go riding with guys and you walk over and their tire looks a little low and you don't even ask them. You walk over and you kind of stealthy lean in and you put your heel of your hand on the tire and you go, and it goes, bleh. And then you go over and you go, hey, did you check your tire pressure? I'm like, no. The guy's got like 8 pounds and you're going out in the rocks.
But he has new graphics.
He's got bold new graphics and fork oil that's been in there for 3 years. So yeah, all that stuff, do all that first. And then if you're rich, maybe you might want to throw some. I just bought a dirt bike and I threw some goodies on there. I had to have a Scott steering stabilizer. So I got
Scott's
one of those.
another great company.
Yeah, I got a Scott. Every bike I've ever owned, I've had a Scott's steering stabilizer on. So I handled that. Made a call to Chirb. He's got a killer skid plate, a couple other things. But definitely, I couldn't ride a bike if the levers weren't adjusted. It'd drive me mental.
So Tim Wharton ordered a Dos Hombres on Amazon right now. He will share it with me at NORRA.
You know what?
That's really
Tim
nice.
Morton from Baja Bound Adventures, one of the greatest people in Southern California. If you want to go on a good dirt bike ride on a tour, hook up with Tim from Baja Bound Adventures, and he will take you all over the peninsula, depending on your talent level, because he assesses how they ride. He kind of watches everybody. He goes, these guys ride really good. Then he can take you on the trails he wants to ride, the better ones. But if there's some suspect people that are like doing dumb stuff, safety is a major factor. He has to take them on a little mellower patrol. So hook up with Tim, and thank you. Even though I don't drink and I'm not going to be at the NORRA drinking Dos Hombres.
I'll try to get you a sticker.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm stoked because Breaking Bad was one of the greatest shows
That
on TV
I
ever.
totally agree with that.
So I just
Hey.
thought, as a tequila guy, you should have their Dos Hombres.
As I was like laying on the couch thinking I'm going to be completely useless, I was wondering what I was going to do, and I'm like, I might watch like Breaking Bad again.
There's a good show on TV right now on Paramount Plus by Guy Ritchie called Mobland with Pierce Brosnan and Tom Hardy about London gangsters. Show 3 was just Sunday night. I'm not getting paid to pitch this. I personally like it. So, check it out if you like that sort of stuff.
So that's what we
Guy Ritchie, who used to be married to Madonna.
Yep.
And why is he not married to Madonna anymore? Madonna.
Hey, F3 Hazard 454 or whatever says on my all-wheel drive adventure bike. That's a 4 million view video on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah. This guy named Jim Bartell shot the video. Like this other guy Jorge says he shot it, but really Jim shot it.
All-wheel drive like the old school Christini?
Yeah, so it was a KTM adventure bike that we had a Christini system put onto, and this person says you can see him pushing with his leg in 2-wheel mode and not pushing in 1-wheel mode. Ha 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 ha. Well, you know what? You're wrong. Yeah, the whole video was smoke and mirrors, right? That's all I do around here is fake shit. Just like the guy who commented an almost top speed on a 2019 Honda CR450X, he thinks we're bullshit because on a 2019 bike, but posted in 2018. Well, when do you think we get bikes? Like you get the bikes like before anybody gets the bikes, and when do they release the 2019s? Usually like in June of 2018. So
it goes without saying, broski.
So what's the first thing you think I do? I take it out and I see how fast it goes so I can put a top speed number on my YouTube video.
Just real quick, back to Tim Morton from Baja Bound. He goes, the guy you got to watch out for when you begin the tour. He looks at the CRF 450X, the bike he rented. He goes, what does that bike top out at? And Tim just shakes his head. He just goes, oh, my God. That's the guy you got to watch for because he's going to wad himself. Holding it wide open on the beach, hits a frickin' penguin, all hell breaks loose.
We pissed off
feathers everywhere.
We've pissed off Steve Bauer because it was a dirt bike show, and you're talking about TV channels and Madonna.
You know what, Steve? Get your own fucking show, kid.
Yeah, you know what? I think you should. That's what I tell people. You should do that, and you're like on your podcast.
This is an entertainment portal. If you would like to be entertained, and if you're not entertained, that's fine too, because
give us a like and a subscribe.
Give us a like and give him a like and a subscribe. Me personally, I have my own thing. Fuck you, racing. We don't grovel for likes or subscribes. You can unfollow us, and we will dance in the frickin' streets.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on. Dude, you'd better check to see if you're bleeding from lung. This is from a concerned citizen. You sound just like I did, and if you don't go get a freaking anti-gravity lounge chair so you can at least sleep for a few hours. No, I sleep fine, Victor. Let me tell you, I sleep fine, but being up during the day is thing. So
he did mention that he had not spit up any blood, just FYI.
Yeah, no blood has come up.
Yeah, when you spit up blood, that's when you call the doctor and say, hey, does your wife need new curtains? I'll bring my credit card down. and blood on the. Don't laugh, it'll hurt. And blood on the neck. You know in the movies when the guy sneaks off because he doesn't want the wife to see
We're
it?
not talking about movies
Shut
tonight,
up.
Jerry.
And he goes, and then he looks and there's blood. That guy's dying.
This guy Gabrielle's whatever on my KTM electric starter Sprag clutch repair says, how do you calibrate your wrist and how often?
When I was 15, I calibrated my wrist a lot. Don't laugh. You're trying to make his ribs hurt with laughing.
I calibrate. I told you I have a torque wrench in my wrist. It's like it's pretty good. In one video I actually went and torqued cylinder head bolts
and guessed it and then measured
I
it.
guessed it and then I pulled the damn torque wrench out because people said, you can't do that. And I go, okay, look, I'm getting a torque wrench.
Right.
And I held it up to the camera and set it to 18 foot-pounds and went, it was perfect.
Never doubt the mighty Jim
No,
Lewis.
there's some things, if I tell, like sometimes if my mouth's moving, people say it's just probably bullshit. But if I actually make the effort to tell you something, I'm pretty confident. I don't.
Yeah.
I hate blowing extra air out of my fucking
I can always
lungs.
tell when a T-shirt's printed crooked.
Let's see. So he has an intermittent start. Most of the time, the relay would just click and no crank. I bench tested my starter and it's good. I hear my fuel pump run and my relay click, and I also feel my ribs click. The starter moving when I touch it. For what it's worth, I just got the bike and the injector was clogged. Backflush with sprays now. Got the bike to start once and I was good. Shifted in first, died immediately. Would start again. Just relay clicking. New lithium battery, good voltage. I have the battery on a charger. So he has the same KTM. Yeah, check that starter Sprag because inside of those things they have a Sprag gear inside there. And if that, what happens is there's a bunch of eccentrically shaped bearings that rotate one way and lock the other way. That's what makes the starter work. And when that thing gets hot, the spring that holds the bearings in, the spring stretches, and then that spring can break. And if those bearings get locked up, and it's almost sounding like that, check that sucker.
Check your Sprag.
Oh, that almost felt good. Okay.
Don't keep your fingers crossed, people, because if he goes into some sort of violent convulsion, there is not going to be any sort of, mouth-to-mouth precipitation going on here. I'm just going to say, I'll call your wife. Looks like you're dying.
Yeah. So this show is sponsored by Yamaha. Yamaha brings this show to you so that you can enjoy this incredible content about movies and Madonna, as well as comments from readers like Mark Steffens, who says, I've been riding all types of motorcycles for about 50 years. I have more fun on my Yamaha XT250 than any other bike I've owned for considerably less money. Not to mention they're indestructible. Thank you, Mark Steffens, 5120. You are the kind of consumer that Yamaha enjoys providing excellent motorcycles to.
You know what? Just real quick, you know what's the key word to what he just said? Fun.
Fun.
The word fun. Because if you're doing anything in life and you're not having fun, you probably shouldn't be doing it. So if you have a bike and someone makes fun of it, you just look at them and go, dude, I'm having a blast on this thing.
Yeah, you're making
kick rocks, hit the road.
You're making fun of me having. You want to know how much fun I was having on my motorcycle until about 1 millisecond before I impacted the ground?
You were having a blast.
I was having a blast, and I just feel like this is my penance.
And then you flat ran out of talent, and everything went pear-shaped.
You're exactly right.
And he was off in the giggle weeds. And the silt, a.k.a. brown talcum powder, got him.
Hey, you want to talk about the AMA?
Do I?
Yeah.
No, I don't. As a matter of fact,
Okay,
to be completely honest, one of the last things I would like to talk about.
Why
in
the
this life
125
is
and
the
not
AMA.
why? It's the Yamaha YZ125X versus the YZ250FX. Why not the 125? Why the 125 and not the 250X to compare? A bit unfair putting a Mitch, that's spelled M-Y-C-H, smaller capacity against the 250F. It's because the AMA. The AMA said that you will race 250 4-strokes against 125 2-strokes, and they ruined the 125 2-strokes forever. You know what? I just had a great idea. Sometimes these hurt my head, but I'm going to say it out loud. You know how you can fix frickin' Supercross? Make the Premier Class 250s, 250Fs, and the Lights Class 125 2-strokes. Because 250Fs do everything, and and the guys, I think it would bring the skills closer together. I'd probably be nuts. It'd probably cap the retirement age at about 28 for sure. You're not going to have 40-year-old guys racing anymore because you just get taken out too much because those kids do that. But have a 125 class again. That would be epic.
Imagine the sound.
Yeah, well, I mean,
imagine the sound echoing inside of
it's a
stadium
different
in a dome.
It's a different sound for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a different sound, and
I have a legit Supercross question for anybody that's watching this show, specifically people who ride off-road. What are your thoughts on the Foxborough round of Supercross, where it was a complete bloodbath in the mud, and they shortened the main to 12 minutes? A main is traditionally, 17 minutes long? And yes, it was muddy. It was completely horrendous, and it destroyed motorcycles. But if you're going to ride 17 minutes in the mud, you're going to shave off 5? Why? I didn't understand. So if we have anybody who has something to chime in on perhaps why Feld decided to do that, or the AMA, I don't know. Whoever, the powers that be. Oh, let's only ride 12 minutes.
Let's see here. We've got some of these other questions. This versus a Cove 450. He's talking about the AJP PR7. The Cove doesn't have enough power compared to those other bikes, but they're all great adventure bikes. Let's see. Geez, Trevor. I like saying this, so just see this. I sound like a broken record when I say how well-rounded you are on these various bikes. I'm amazed at how fast you are on any brand of bike with very little saddle time. Geez, Trevor. Oh, boy. Ollie's your boyfriend.
Is Trevor one of the test riders?
Yeah, Trevor does most of the work on the website anymore. I just do this stupid podcast and claim that I run the thing.
Podcasts are not stupid.
This is a multi-platform show.
This is an entertainment portal.
It's a pod viewing extravaganza, although it's
this is where I'm not allowed to tell more than one joke.
Wait, hold on. Let's see. Got funded. At Got Funded says that dirt rider rag guy shit all over you and the bikes. When you get red and green to pay dollars, he loves the products. Another reason to take all things with a grain of salt. Let's see. Dirt rider rag guy. Let's see. I don't know. Who's that? Yeah, when red and green pay the dollars, he loves it. I don't know what he's talking about. Thanks for sharing. I have a 250 EXCF model, 1,860 hours. Wow. 97,000 kilometers with a Kickstarter. When I try and kick the electric starter is turning. I believe that freewheel is not freewheeling. Yeah, you'd better fix that. It's going to get real expensive when it comes apart, especially with 1,860 hours on a KTM 250 EXC. Let's see. Oh, hey, look! Somebody read my review. My probably just click through the links on Amazon. Ordered. It's awesome. Thanks.
What's awesome, Jimmy?
Scott Sports Softcon Hybrid knee guards. Dude, I love those things. Love them.
What do you like specifically about them, other than affording you knee protection?
The knee protection with the level of comfort. I hate knee pads. I hate knee braces. I hate it. They're always pinching, poking, right. There's so few. There's so few and far between ones that I found that I like. And these things, they don't bother me at all. I did the whole 2 weeks and a week and a half in Baja, and I hardly wanted to get out of my gear. They were that comfortable.
Because when you I used to have CTI knee braces, and even in the summertime, you got to wear the high knee socks. So
right.
It's like wearing long underwear. You don't want to have more stuff on, but if you don't have the high knee socks on and you have CTI knee braces, when we rode the Peru rally in '96, we get up in the morning and put our stuff on. I'd put my knee braces on, crank them tight because you're supposed to, and I'd be wearing the things for like 8 hours, and I'd take them off and look like I had frickin' scarring tattoo on my leg.
Hey, Dean Kemp, coming back after I put that $100 from Rooster Endo to good use, and he got a 1-gallon gas bag. What's funny is I got to ride with Dean up in northern Nevada, And he sent. I said that his bike was really. I said, you should send that in Rooster Endo. Well, anyways, he sent it in Rooster Endo, and amazingly he won. Because really I just try to share that love with all my friends. It's a tight knit club here, little clicky. But anyways, yeah, Dean. I think he's doing that because we did this ride and we rolled back in on fumes.
So just not stupid question, but I'm assuming 1 gallon gas bag is like extra petrol for on your bike somewhere.
Right, you can
and
throw
it's a flexible bag. You carry it on your body
giant
or on
loop.
your bike.
Yeah, Giant Loop makes them, and you can clip it on your backpack, and you just pour. As soon as you've run through your first gallon, or if it's 2 guys, your first half gallon, you just pour it in, roll that sucker up, and it packs in really small.
Nice.
And it's real easy to use. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Love the XR100 motor behind me. If our cameras worked, you'd have more angles, but we're having technical difficulties.
What, is that a basketball question? Anthony asks, who the GOAT, LeBron or MJ? You know it's Angel Reese. God, get with the program, broski.
It is the basketball and moto talk thing.
We do what we want.
Emily in Paris is also a good series for TV shows.
That girl's really good looking, Tim, so don't think I don't know what you're talking about.
Is
Emily in Paris.
Is that isn't on any show that's on Tuesday night between 7 and 9 is not a
and
good
we weren't
show.
trying to talk about Madonna. I wanted to talk about Guy Ritchie. Madonna can kick rocks.
Let's see. Bring back 500 2-strokes. Well, of course. I saw, and I don't know if it was fake or not. I saw an auction for a CR500 going for close. It was a brand new in the crate CR500 going for $70,000.
Gene Woods has a CR500 for sale, all black plastic with Arizona plates on it. So, if anybody really wants one,
know the guy to
great.
talk to. Yeah. Okay. Back to the other important questions.
Can I just interject on a technical mode?
Never on this show.
We're pretty lucky because when I got here, seriously, 3 hours straight, I was just sitting over there dinking around, and steam was coming out of his head. Everything was screwed up, and we didn't have a tech guy.
The amazing thing is that, like, what we usually have problems
really
with,
happened.
but I mean, we're dropping frames like fucking crazy over
No,
there.
I know that. I'm saying we do have that technical difficulty, but in all honesty, I thought I was going to have to go out, have something to eat, and go, hey,
Okay.
nice try,
You
I'm
know,
out of here.
we have something on YouTube called Super Chat. Here's if that buffering is bothering you right now in Super Chat, do a Super Chat and donate us some money. And every penny that I get on that Super Chat, I'll hire somebody from Bangladesh or one of these other countries that we're tariffing to death right now. I will hire them. Of course, I'll put tariffs on their hire, and I'll have them fix whatever problems I have, because I guarantee you that this is way above my pay grade.
He knows about dirt bikes. I know about graphic design. We don't know about podcasting, okay? Wires and all this stuff, we're doing our best, so bear with us. Thank you. We used to have a guy, but what happened to the guy?
The
guy we were talking about earlier. Used to have a guy.
Oh, yeah, the guy got uninterested.
Yeah. I think he lost his virginity, and then you know how that happens.
I don't know. I mean, I told him motorcycles are better. Bizarre says, I would love to see a video on the Gas MC150. Well, then you type in Gas MC150 on your search engine, and you will get one, because it costs money and time for me to do that. I have broken ribs, and I can't do that for you right now. Let's see. He would love to see how it handles in tighter single track stuff. No, it's not made for that, but sometimes we just do things the bike isn't made for on our YZ450 FX race bike. Well, Emmett mode it. Emile Emile Motosit. Well, yeah, you just watch my WR450 video. Let's see. And this is from our Durst Bike Test is live. It says, will you both be riding Hondas? Ricky will.
I have a Honda.
You have a Honda. Jerry's riding Hondas. Let's see. Where are we at here? I got a few. Have you ridden a 2025 KTM XCW? The answer is no. The fork feels much better than my 2022 Beta 300 Race Edition. In fact, I don't like my 2022 Beta forks much at all. And he commented on our Beta 300 versus Beta 300 Race Edition video. And that's interesting because most people would say, I mean, I don't know which Beta he had, because I could understand that against the Sachs fork, and mostly on a perception basis, but a lot of times people always say that the Kayaba stuff is way better than the KTM's WP stuff. People say that, not me. I think my 2023 KTM has better forks. Well, they're really good. I can't remember compared to the Beta right now, because we did the back-to-back Beta versus KTM, or maybe we didn't do that test. Can't remember. Let's see. Any other questions? I hate it when I leave reverb on a beautiful bike. Well, Trevor must have screwed up his video. Hey, look, I did a review on CD Crossfire 3 boots.
Great boot.
Great boots. I got 2 sole replacements before they broke. It was 2 years, and the SG12 only held up 10 months. And he's from a fully another country. Can you say that name, Jerry?
今晚之後佢咁樣解
Yeah, something like that. I think you have to plug one nostril when you say his his name. Wow, he's going through. If you.
What are you running for foot pegs? Is my question.
Well,
Right?
Yeah, you can
Some
wreck
foot pegs
boots with
are
foot
like
pegs.
knives.
But sole replacements, I get probably 2 months out of a set of soles, and I mean I ride a little bit, and I've never broke. I have like 7 or 8 pairs that are like need soles because when Bill went away from CD, I'm still dealing with the guys at Helmet House and stuff, and they didn't have a very good supply of the spare parts, and so I need to get a bunch of soles because I'm burning through my soles.
Because if Bill was still with Moto Nation, well, he's with Moto Nation, but if Moto Nation was still with CD, Uncle Bill Broth would hook you up.
Yeah, he always had.
good people.
CD, I was CD for life. Ride Red Bros. Did you switch the airbox as well to the 23 450X or 25 250? I don't know. You have to ask Trevor these questions. Trevor needs to get on the.
You should read what they're talking about before you read what they ask. I don't know.
Oh,
it seems
yeah.
backwards to me because you'll say something and then I have to look over
To
at
see what it was. Luckily, you can. And
Right,
an
so
affordable.
You read that first, then say their question.
There's
Just
a-
a suggestion.
It's a learning experience every time, Jerry.
I know it
An
is.
affordable YZ250F vet bike build. So basically, Trevor went and got hand gifted another J. Clark build bike because Trevor doesn't want to do any work. He's just lazy. And so Jay brings him a brand new bike, and then they go out and they shoot photos of it and talk about how awesome it is. And then he never answers the questions. And his stipend for doing this type of work is going to go down exponentially. Let's see, Jesse Gant, looking into NORRA, it would be easy to show up and do the 500 sportsman class with the GPS. Is the GPS provided right? Does it mount easily? Okay, Jesse, there's no GPS. It's Rally Roadbook, just like you see the guys doing in the Dakar. I'm not sure what the 500 sportsman class is. You'd think I would know since I'm the race director, but I don't really know that. But the GPS is provided. Yes, it's a Stella unit. Yes, it doesn't tell you where to go. Your road book tells you where to go. And then Roger Doggerel says, Jimmy, can you see this post? What do you think?
The answer is yes, Roger. Moving on.
Roger's a good friend of mine. He used to make the
Speaking
Spike
of good-
Racing clothing.
Speaking of good friends, scroll to the bottom.
You mean my mom? Wife? My wife? I almost called. Yeah, she usually calls me during the show on accident.
She knows I'm here, though.
Oh, yeah. I need a Starlink. No, we don't need a Starlink. We need a computer. Our connection is actually good. Ask Jerry. Did someone check the connection before this show?
The connection to all of this?
Well, the connection to the satellites.
Yes, you did a speed test.
Yes, I did a speed test, and I verified that wasn't the thing. I need to start. Kaplan Cycles, it passed reserve at 76. They're talking about that CR500. It passed reserve at 76,000. Wow. And Kevin says, just to think I rode mine, 75,000 is crazy. And Jesse says, for as much as I pay for this free program, I would expect better quality. You deserve it, Jesse. Everything that you're getting. And then Tim Wharton, are you getting soft with your age? My wife is now having a private chat with Tim Wharton on our show. So, Jerry, do you have anything else? Do we cross everything off your list?
In replying to Heather Lewis, Tim Morton, are you getting soft with your age? Google ED medication.
Yeah.
Do we have everything's gone off the list. Now I can start either telling jokes, talking about
We
Guy
can't tell any
Ritchie,
more jokes.
talking about Guy Ritchie, or I can tell a story, or I can shut the fuck up and let you talk.
It's getting to the point of the show where we could do the shut the F up. That was how many F bombs was that now? That's 4.
I haven't been counting.
I think it's 4.
That's how I get greedy, is I just say whatever I want, and then you scold me later.
Victor is telling me by my voice, he thinks that I'm bleeding out from inside and I'm going to die.
Victor, you're so negative, bro. It's just an overdose of salsa from La Fonda. He'll be fine. Man up.
Oh, I'm getting messages that stuff's going on with my motorcycle race.
We are at 1 hour and 37 minutes of a 2-hour entertainment portal broadcast.
There's 34,000 people that are watching us right now. And if everybody... and Victor says...
Thank God I drove over here from Las Vegas.
The speed test is a little different in the Antelope Valley. No, they do it out here, and they do the speed test pretty good out here in Pahrump.
Speaking of Breaking Bad,
hey, you know what, Jerry? Another thing I want to talk about is I get all these awards that I don't deserve and stuff, but like that Zeki thing that I got. You want to know Zeki? Zeki. I'll try to remember to pronounce it properly. I can't do anybody's names right. So we opened an OHV park out here in Pahrump. You know that?
That's right. A kid's riding park in Pahrump a kid's riding park anyway would be great. But I saw that you had an opening. You were out with the town of Pahrump to have a facility for kids.
So it's been in the works for 4 years. Since I heard about this, we got a lot of OHV grant money put together. It's been 4.5 years of working with our OHV advisory committee. We work with our county supervisors and the town of Pahrump, and it was really slow because you have no idea when you do things at that level. Like, this is a permanent facility that's going to go in our fairgrounds facility. It's going to be here for a long time. We're tying it in with connectivity to our off-road trail system that they're actively working on. We're building trailheads on the south side of the town, north side of town, but we finally got the go-ahead to be able to build a little kids track. Yeah. I mean, the dirt out there is horrible. It's just poof dirt. So we brought in good dirt.
The kids don't know that.
But we brought in good dirt so we could water it, and we had a bunch of community involvement. A couple really good tractor operators came out there. We were able to rent some equipment, build this thing. The town lets us use a water truck, and we got our track open, which was super cool. And
how many kids did you have out in the
It was probably about 25 kids.
And it was all I'm imagining all real mellow rollers, fun.
Yeah, it had little jumps and stuff, but even some of the big kids, myself included, got to ride around the track. Yeah. And we were riding with the riding around. I had my TTR 125 out there. Again, Blue Crew was out there putting around on the TTR 125 with the kids. And one of the kids, he was all super stoked because I did a little bit of a jump, and he pulled me over. And he says, "Ride in front of me and do a cross-up." And I mean, some of the kids could barely ride. We have what we called a kidney bean track that we built.
Right.
And
but that's how you learn. But you have to have the proper equipment, because I always talk about emergency room nurses, kids are never going to enjoy riding motorcycles because emergency room nurses are always on the backside of a bike crash. Guy comes in, ripped jersey, bone hanging out his elbow. Stuff like that happens. My kid's never going to ride a dirt bike. Why don't you get your kid a helmet, some proper safety gear, get him a small little bike, little small Yamaha PW50, a little XR50 Honda. They're going to have fun. Yeah, they're going to fall down, but if they're wearing the right gear, they're going to be okay. What are they going to sit in the house and frickin' play Fortnite?
Yeah, and this is kind of where I was going with this is and the reason this is so important to me is because I think about what I would have ended up like if I didn't find dirt bikes. Like I have a high excitement threshold. I need to be pretty stimulated all the time. And and all the crazy shit that I've tried, nothing comes close to motorcycles. I'm paying the price right now. This will teach me to be a little bit more careful. And so if you have a kid, or a kid wants to ride, they're going to fall over and they're going to get banged up. It's going to happen. And guess
Same
what?
as in football.
Yeah, like a lot of things. You skateboards, all these different things. But you learn, that you're going to teach yourself some certain amount of self-preservation. Done properly, your kid's going to have to learn to work on the motorcycle a little bit. I mean, I know some kids get away with murder and they don't have to.
That's
true. They don't have to learn to check their air filter and check their oil and check their tire pressure before they ride. But I sure as hell did. Yep. I had to, and if I didn't, if my dad found that I didn't check my motorcycle and we went to go riding and it wasn't right, I didn't get to go riding, and that made me check real quick. I had to keep my grades up because of this, and I didn't want to keep my grades up. I wanted to go ride all the time, but if I wanted to ride, I had to keep so. There's these things, but now we have a place where the kids can go and learn to do it. And there was a lot of kids that came out there that you could tell because the parents maybe weren't into it. They didn't know what racked, and they go, "Oh, look, you got him this. He wears this kind of thing as a chest protector, and he doesn't just wear hiking boots. They make boots for kids. Oh, right. And the Kawasaki shop came out there. Parker's Kawasaki came out there. And they did VIN inspection so everybody could get their OHV sticker, because this is where the money's coming from to support this. And
everybody has to jump through the correct
our
hoops.
local pizza place, right? Tower Pizza brought out like 20 pizzas for the kids. I mean, there was so much pizzas that all the adults and all the parents, everybody got to eat pizzas.
Read the hat.
Yeah, it all goes full circle. Yeah, and back to
cool
thing.
Safety equipment. You said some people can't afford boots. If you're wearing work boots, or you're wearing dirt bike boots. But what is the first question I ask when someone breaks their ankle riding? I go,
Were you wearing boots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just warming up my bike. They had on sneakers. Boom, next thing you know, broken ankle. Well, I don't know what to tell you, Joey.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, like I said, you'll learn these kind of things, but then you'll learn mechanics, you'll learn some mechanical skills, you'll learn valuable motor skills to how to operate vehicles, just and it's fun for the most part for these kids.
What would happen to me if I didn't learn about dirt bikes? I would have got kicked out of art school when I was 18. Oh wait, I still got kicked out of art school when I was 18.
Yeah, it's just different motivation for different people, but I'm
supposed to be sorry to interrupt, but we're supposed to be asking Steve Bauer what topics we can talk about, or is it just dirt bikes?
No, we have to ask D-Ron Moyer. Says you two are like Click and Clack. Is that a TV show?
I have no idea. Click and Clack. I know what I know what a click track is in music, but I don't know what Click and Clack is. Maybe that's something from over in Amsterdam, but they're always high.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyhow, I'm not sure what Click and Clack is. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. So now we have if you want to bring your kid out, we're trying to operate it once a month.
Logo.
And we're getting a whole bunch of money, more money. We're working on getting a whole bunch more money from the Nevada OHV Fund to have the only facility in Southern Nevada for off-road vehicles. I mean, there's ones in California, Sandy Valley's in California. The other one is over in Arizona. The other ones are outside. So this is a good thing. And
a lot of things are getting closed down with insurance regulations tightening up, and of course anything with motorized vehicles, they're going to be highly scrutinized. But I am offering my services as a
for the logo.
As a
I told them.
designer, 100% pro bono. That means free in lawyer speak. When
Right.
you figure out what the name is, you call me up. I will design a logo.
Because we're gonna get
for the kids. Para los niños.
We're gonna get some signage pretty soon. Actually, we're getting a shipping container to keep some of our equipment in.
I'll hook you up.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Because I got kicked out of art school.
All for dirt bikes.
That's it. All for dirt bikes.
Okay. Well, one last quick call out for questions. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them up in the chat. Sorry for the glitchy technical I'm just doing that on purpose. Details.
Yeah, because the show almost didn't happen. So if we had a little bit of buffer in here and there, it's the best we can do. So hopefully the audio went smooth.
You know, I was wondering if I would have been wearing one of those Climb AirTech vests because they make those ones that inflate. Climb actually, I probably wouldn't have broken ribs.
You probably wouldn't have.
Yeah,
There's a reason why they designed those. When Mark Marquez goes flying off through the air and the airbag, Ricky Brayback, all those guys,
they all have them.
Cowboys,
Yeah,
they all have the airbag vests.
Oh,
all the girls over in Las Vegas, they got airbags in the front.
I know. I'm thinking about those all. I'm thinking about
women
wearing a vest all the time now. So, well,
13 minutes to go.
You want to try to? You would really want to try to get to 2 hours?
No, you don't. You can end it whenever you want. I'm just happen to be looking over at the timer, 1:47:08.
We've only dropped 52,062 frames. That's 13.5. You've missed out the visual of 13.5% of this show, and damn it,
lucky 13.
Yeah, Click and Clack is a radio car talk show, similar format. But do they talk about Madonna and movies?
They don't talk about Guy Ritchie's ex-wife in movies. But I am. Gene Wood says that I am, the minister of knowing all things that no one needs. He has some official title. Like I just have random off the top of my head stuff. I'm pretty much pulling bullshit out of the sky, but a lot of it's on point.
You do a good job, yeah. I feel like
I know some stuff. I've been around.
Everything is well deserved. I can hold up, like I can push a button and hold up like pistons right now, or you asked what this was.
I know what it is, but I thought it was a 3D mold, and you said it's made out of wood.
It's a front disc rotor protector from Bulletproof Designs, and it's made out of it's breakable. It's made out. It's the 3-ounce version. It also has a little logo that matches my shirt right there.
Nice.
So, anyways, the good guys at Bulletproof Designs also say it can be used as firewood. So they.
Or you can strain pasta with it.
You could. Actually, you know
Not
what?
Not angel hair though. Not angel hair.
That might. No, it's a good prop. It'll end up on the thing like my other trophy or something like that. But again, thanks to all of our sponsors. Of course, that's Yamaha, Bulletproof Designs, Fasst Company, makers of the Flex handlebars and lots of cool little trinkets. We also have Taco Moto that brings you the segment that didn't appear tonight, Rooster Endo. You send us a picture of your bike and a little bit of info about it. We talk about it, and the winner is the one that gives us the most enjoyment. Whether it roosts or endos, we will let you know. Of course, there's double take mirrors. If you have not seen the new double take mirror, they have a kind of a version 2 out now. It is so much better. It doesn't move. When it clamps, and so like this phone case that I use here, it doesn't move when I clamp it into the Bulletproof Design, because I use the same arm and the mounting thing on the thing, and then I have a ball on the back of this for my phone mount, anti-vibration, of course. Trail Tech, they make the GPS unit that I use. Even though you can't use one in NORRA, I get to use a GPS unit when I'm down there checking stuff out.
And sometimes we're sponsored by this heinous dirt bike cult. From Boston, Massachusetts, spawned in 1986 by Jerry Bonato. With guys like low-end Luke McNeil, Tommy Norton, Tim Dinge, and the rest. La Squadra FAQ, a.k.a. GTBN, the good team with a bad name.
Hey, you guys sponsor a ISDE team every year, club team every year.
Yes, this will be 5th year. We just sent the money in. We have an angel investor requested to be unnamed.
Yeah.
He sent in X amount of money, which is required by the AMA. So you can have your own ISDE club team. And, of course, FAQ Racing wouldn't fly, and I totally understand that. And I actually respect it, because who needs a bunch of people whining and crying and Karens flipping out in their frickin' wigs flying off in their SUVs that stink of wine and gin. So we decided to call it GTBN, which means
good team with a bad name.
Bad name. And I do want to high-five the boys that have ridden on this team, varied riders over the course of 4 years. But first year we got a 7th, then we got a 4th, then we got a 2nd. This year we've got a 2nd again. So GTBN's been in the top 10 in the ISDE club team on an average of about 125 to 135 teams from all around the world. So, what comes after moving up the ladder? What comes after number 2?
Number 1. Hey, what would be a better place than Bergamo?
just really quickly.
Bergamo.
This year, the ISD is in Bergamo, Italia, home of Franco from Acerbis. So the Italian junior trophy team will be tough in the Bergamasco Valley on home soil. And all the respect to them, I believe they won last year and just edged out GTBN. But we were on the podium. Shout out to Jaden Donners. And
Jaden just
Jack
won the
Walker.
Desert 100.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's a little trivia.
Overall.
Jaden Donners just won the Desert 100 for the third time, tying his father, who has won the Desert 100 3 times. So the family Donners is 3 for 3. So it's on next year, broski. Bro Hammer.
Yep. So, well, that's it. I think we're gonna wrap this up. You guys are out of questions. I got to go huck up a loogie and cry, and hopefully not die in my. I sleep amazingly well for broken ribs. If I can just lay down, it's pretty comfortable. So we'll probably see you back next week. Get those Rooster Endos in. Tell a friend. Enjoy, like, share. Post this show on the other Moto podcasts feeds so that people have someplace else to go when theirs get as boring as this. Because we are actually kind of interesting if you don't listen to us that much. So with that, Jerry, I'd like to thank you for coming in again. My co-host, Jerry Bernardo, from the world-famous...
The pause is the best part.
ES
Jerry Bernardo from the world famous
ESPN2 Moto World.
Moto World 2.
Moto World 2?
But I'm retired now.
Yeah, that was where you got world famous. Or was it from painting helmets, like the ones displayed up in the
I don't. I never.
You can't
would
see him
put
on the show.
myself in the category of world famous, but yes, I was on ESPN.
You were an announcer at Krusty Demon's tour in Australia.
Yes, I did that.
Yep.
Yes, I was on TV hosting Moto World 2, hosted a monster truck race called Inside Monster Jam. I've been to the Running of the Bulls, announcing for ESPN 4 times.
And you didn't tell us about jumping into the sewer.
No, that talk about black and blue. Oh my God, it was like somebody hit me in the back of a leg with a cricket bat. But nonetheless, yes, these things do happen. But now I'm professionally retired. So if you want to call me up and pay me to do television, you could get full.
But you can call him up to do a couple logos. And if he likes your cause, he might do it for free.
I'm going to donate a logo for the kids of Pahrump because I'm all about
the children.
No. I mean, that's the seriously.
Yeah.
It's the next generation.
Yeah.
I mean, I sponsor a lot of young kids. With not a lot of. I don't send
follow
money to people, but
Fuck You Racing
sponsor a lot
on the
of young
socials.
kids
Yeah.
that
Follow it
ride
on the
dirt
socials.
bikes.
There's always kids on the podium that are pretty stoked
If you go
about
on
a
any of
sticker
my social media,
that they can't.
it's not about me. I never do that. I'm not going to take a picture of my food and post it. It's all about results from people like Nick Farringer, the hard enduro rider, Steve Levan, 17-time Missouri hare scramble champion. Who else? Adam Lewis, spawn of Fuck You Racing, Mike Lewis's son. He's an up-and-comer. He just bumped into the AA class in the Netra races, and that kid hauls ass.
I don't like to brag or anything, but I got on the podium in the pro class at a National Hare and Hound this year in the vet pro class with my Fuck You sponsored Yamaha WR450 Woodworks Las Vegas door and frame.
You never can count out the older gentlemen.
Anyway, okay. It was a great show, says Roger Doggerel. Jerry was okay, and he loves Jerry.
Who's Roger Doggerel?
He was the guy that made the Spike Racing T-shirts back in the day.
It's nice to be loved. It really is. Because when you're loved in prison, it really sucks. But to be loved on a portal podcast entertainment facility, it's a lot more comforting, and you don't have to give away your cigarettes.
Okay, I'm going to try to stop this show now. So, okay, everybody, now that we're frozen up, we'll wait till it